Imagine if one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history never happened. No secession, no civil war, no immediate emancipation of millions of enslaved people. What would the United States look like today? And how would the world change with it? In this video, we explore an alternate timeline, one where Abraham Lincoln's election doesn't lead to war, but instead to a fragile peace. This is the world where the Civil War never happened. In our real timeline, Abraham Lincoln's victory in 1860 sent shockwaves across the South. Fearing the end of slavery, 11 Southern states chose secession. The Union responded with force, and so began the Civil War. But in this alternate world, things play out differently. Perhaps Lincoln moderates his tone, or a last-minute political compromise, like a new constitutional amendment, reassures the South. Maybe the federal government offers concessions that delay or even dissolve the secession movement. The Union holds. But slavery? It remains legal. This isn't a peaceful resolution. It's a pause with a price. Without war, slavery survives deep into the late 1800s and maybe beyond. Internationally, the U.S. finds itself on the back foot. Britain and France, who abolished slavery decades earlier, condemn American policy. Diplomatic tensions rise. Trade relations sour. Meanwhile, abolitionist voices in the North grow louder. But without the moral clarity of war, change comes slowly. Instead of battalions and battlefields, it's protests, newspapers, political campaigns, and boycotts. Abolition becomes a long, bitter cultural war, fought in parliaments, papers, and pulpits. The North, free of the human and economic cost of war, rapidly industrializes. Factories rise. Cities grow. Immigrants pour in, fueling innovation and urban expansion. Meanwhile, the South clings to plantation economics and enslaved labor. Technological progress lags. The economy stagnates. And resentment brews, not just between North and South but within the South itself. Poor white farmers begin to question the system. Enslaved people resist in subtle and open ways. Could this pressure lead to reform, or to collapse from within? Without a unifying war, the U.S. political system strains under the weight of unresolved issues. Regional factions in Congress clash. Riots and uprisings erupt in cities. Southern states begin to feud not just with the North, but with each other. By the late 19th century, the country may not erupt into war, but it may crack from the inside. A slow implosion rather than a violent explosion. Eventually, slavery collapses, because it must. Global outrage, internal unrest, and the inefficiency of a slave-based economy push Southern leaders to a breaking point. But there's no Lincoln to issue an Emancipation Proclamation, no Union Army to enforce freedom, and no Reconstruction to rebuild the South. Emancipation, when it comes, is reluctant, disorganized, and unsupported. Millions of African Americans are freed, legally, but economically, politically, and socially, they are abandoned. Jim Crow doesn't just rise. It begins earlier. And it's even harsher. Without the Civil War, America's military remains weak. Leaders like Ulysses S. Grant or William Tecumseh Sherman never rise. And by the time World War I breaks out, the U.S. is a lesser power. This changes everything. Would the U.S. even join the war? Could the Allies win without fresh American troops in 1917? And what about World War II? Without a strong America who leads the global fight against fascism, the 20th century might look very different. Without the war, without Lincoln, without the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, civil rights in America are delayed by decades. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, do they still rise? Or are they crushed under an even more brutal system? The long arc of justice doesn't bend forward. It bends slowly, painfully, and maybe not at all. Without the Civil War, the mythos of a reborn America never forms. No Gettysburg Address. No Union victory to rally behind. No redefinition of freedom for all. American patriotism remains tied to the Founding Fathers, but not re-examined. The South clings to its past. The North grows distant. And national unity? It's more symbolic than real. Education tells a quieter story, one where slavery simply faded away, not one that was fought against. Generations grow up not knowing the full weight of what was never resolved. A century later, the shadows of delayed justice still shape America. Mass incarceration, economic inequality, racial segregation in housing and education, all worsened by the absence of a Civil War reckoning. Would black excellence still rise? Yes, but against even greater odds. And movements for change, civil rights, Black Lives Matter, might face an even steeper hill. In avoiding the pain of war, America never confronts its original sin. History is shaped by its darkest hours. The Civil War was brutal, but it broke the chains of slavery. It redefined freedom. It forged a new American identity. In this alternate timeline, the United States may remain united geographically, but morally it is shattered. So we ask you, what if the Civil War never happened? Would America still be the land of the free? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.